teachers, welcome to the Landi project. For those who don't know much about China, this video will give you some basic ideas about China and the Chinese people. So, what is China? China is the world's second largest state by land area, covering 9.6 million square kilometers or 3.7 million square miles. It is located in East Asia and borders 14 nations, more than any other country in the world. With a population of over 1.368 billion, it is the world's most populous country. China has 56 ethnic groups. Most of them have their own traditional dresses and unique culture, like Tibetan, Uyghur, and Mongol. Among all the 56 ethnic groups, Han is the largest. It takes up almost 92% of the total population in China. Han people also have their traditional dresses, like the dresses from the Tang Dynasty and the Ming Dynasty. However, because the last dynasty was Qing, which is actually ruled by the Manchu, one of the ethnic groups, and also because of the modernization, qipao and tangzhuang gradually became the traditional dresses for the Han people. China is so big and there are so many famous and beautiful cities. Let's see some of the most famous ones in China. The most famous place known by the world would probably be the Great Wall. It is in the capital city of China, Beijing. Beijing has been the capital city in more than 6 dynasties in Chinese history. Therefore, it is saturated with traditional Chinese culture. It has a lot of beautiful sights like the Great Wall here, the Temple of Heaven, the Forbidden City, and the Summer Palace. Beijing is also a modern city with lots of skyscrapers. You could never miss the various traditional foods in Beijing, like the Peking duck, which is usually sliced and wrapped with green onion, cucumber, and the special sauce. Hot pot in Beijing and the noodle called zhajiangmian are also famous. Another city which is almost as famous as Beijing is Shanghai. Beijing is the capital city, while Shanghai is the center of finance and business in China. The most famous site is the Bund, or Waitan in Chinese. It's the former Shanghai International Settlement, which originated from the 1863 merger of the British and American enclaves in Shanghai. It runs along the western bank of the Huangpu River. On the eastern bank, it is a peninsula formed by a bend in the Huangpu River. It has been developed specifically as the new financial district of Shanghai since the early 1990s. Lots of international or multi-international companies are located here. There are also a lot of nice foods in Shanghai. Xiaolongbao might be the most well-known dish, as well as another one called 排骨炒年糕, fried ribs and rice cakes. Hangzhou is another beautiful city in China. It's the capital city of Zhejiang province, and it is where the headquarters of Landi is located. It might not be as important as Beijing or as developed as Shanghai, but it is definitely a city you won't want to miss in China. The most famous tourist site is the West Lake. It's such an amazing place that whether it's the summer or the winter? Near or far? In the morning or at dusk? You will always find it gorgeous. Do you drink tea? Have you ever heard about the famous green tea called Longjing? Well, the tea garden in Hangzhou is where Longjing tea was originated. Hangzhou is not only a place has the attractive sceneries, but also a city under fast development, like a new district with a huge meeting center shaped like the sun and a huge theater shaped like the moon, delivering the good wishes of a loving city. The largest stadium of the city stands at the bank of the Qiantang River, where the G20 was held in 2016. Along the river, there's the breathtaking view of the city. Hangzhou is also a city full of delicious food. You can find snacks like 酥油饼, which is a dough fried in peanut oil, and dishes like 龙井虾仁, fried shrimps with 龙井 tea. 东坡肉, pork cooked using secret recipe, and 西湖醋鱼, West Lake fish cooked with vinegar. Guangzhou, also known as Canton, is a big city located in the southeast of China. It is close to Hong Kong, and the people there speak Cantonese as well. It is the capital city of Guangdong Province, which has the highest GDP in China for so many years. Guangdong is also famous for its dim sum. The Cantonese are well known around China for cooking nice porridge and soup. Have you ever tried Kung Pao chicken and Mapo tofu? Well, the next city we're going to see is the origin of these two famous dishes. It's called Chengdu, which is the capital city of the Sichuan province. Chengdu is a modern city, but at the same time, like most of the other big cities in China, it also preserves a lot of traditions, ancient buildings, and the most famous animal in China, the panda. The Chengdu Giant Panda Breeding and Research Base is located in this city. It is one of the major bases providing protections to pandas. We just said Kung Pao chicken and Mapo tofu originated from Chengdu, but Chengdu are more famous for its hot pot. Actually, there are so many amazing dishes in Chengdu that it's almost impossible to list all of them here. What we have here are kind of like the stars among all the dishes. So besides the hot pot, there's the 鸡丝面, sliced chicken with noodle, 凉皮, cold rice noodle, and 串串, a kind of spicy hot snack in Chengdu, somewhat like hot pot. Most of the foods are spicy in Chengdu. Spicy is the feature of Sichuan food. Chinese people use two calendars in our daily life, the normal one and the lunar calendar. The normal calendar is the same one as what you use in your daily life. The three special days based on the normal calendar are the National Day, which is October the 1st, the New Year's Day, January the 1st, and the International Labor Day, May the 1st. The local government would usually decorate the streets with the national flags if it's the National Day, or red lanterns if it's the New Year's Day. For some special years, like the 50th or the 60th National Day, there will be the military parade at the Tiananmen Square. People will get some days off around those three special days, they would usually travel to somewhere. But since all of them have the same days off, the tourist attractions are usually packed with people, which is actually not fun. But for the business, those are the best times to make more money in a year. The lunar calendar is not used as often as the normal calendar. It is created based on the movement of the moon. The names of the year, the month, and date are unique. For example, the date shows here is January the 10th, 2017, but according to lunar calendar, it's December the 13th, the year of Bingsheng, or the year of monkey. The three most important festivals based on the lunar calendar are the Spring Festival, the Mid-Autumn Festival, and the Dragon Boat Festival. Spring Festival is the most important festival celebrated all over the country. The streets will be decorated with lanterns again. People will also hang lanterns at the gate as well, and paste couplets on the two sides of the door. Couplets are good wishes, like wishing for health, wealth, or peace in the coming year. Children will receive 红包, which is a red paper bag with some money from the parents, grandparents, or other relatives. People will also set firecrackers or fireworks during the Spring Festival, but because of the air pollution, a lot of cities actually forbidden any fireworks, but you can still see it in the countryside. The family members will get together and have a feast on New Year's Eve. For people who live in North China, 饺子 is the signature dish of the New Year. The Mid-Autumn Festival is on August the 15th, lunar calendar. The moon is round on that day, and if the weather's nice, it's also very bright, a perfect time to appreciate the moon. There were a lot of poets created beautiful poems of the moon appreciation throughout the history. Mooncakes is the special food of the Mid-Autumn season, which cannot be found during other times of the year. Although there are mooncakes with other shapes, like square, but normally they are round because mooncake was made based on the shape of the moon on the Mid-Autumn day. The Dragon Boat Festival was the day the famous poet Qu Yuan sacrificed himself for his country. He died in the river. People tried to find his body in boats, which gradually became the dragon boat, and when they couldn't find the body, they made 粽子 and threw them in the river, wishing the fishes will eat 粽子 instead of Qu Yuan's body. Now, 粽子 has become the signature food of the Dragon Boat Festival. It's usually made of sticky rice and sweet dates or red beans, if it's sweet. Pork cooked in soy sauce if it's salty. People will make 香囊, a sachet filled with Chinese herb to keep insects away. They will also put a plant called 艾草 on the door to keep the bad things away. Like what we said before, that China is a big country with 56 ethnic groups. There are more than 80 spoken languages and more than 30 written languages in China. When we say Chinese, it's actually a very broad concept. If you're Chinese, no matter what ethnicity you are, you speak Chinese. The reason why the word Chinese is so widely used is because 92% of the population are Han people, and they speak Mandarin, and for some, dialects as well. As it shows here on this language map, the yellow area are where Mandarin and other dialects are spoken. Most of the ethnic groups are bilingual, their own language, and Mandarin. However, if they don't travel to other places, they don't even speak Mandarin. So if you go to the places in other colors on this map, you will find that a lot of people there, they don't speak Mandarin. As an English teacher, it's necessary to learn something about the education in China. In China, students would usually start from preschool, then 3 years in kindergarten, 6 years in primary school, 3 years in middle school, and then they can start to work if they want. Most of the students will continue with high school, and after spending 3 years there, they will have to take college entrance exam, which is extremely important. Based on the scores they get in the exam, they will go to a 4-year university, a 3-year college, a vocational senior school, or go to work. If they can get their bachelor's degree, they can start work or choose to study for a master's degree or even a PhD. Look at the map of their life path. You will find that there are so many exams. This is actually one of the features of the education in China. It's test-oriented. A student will have to take thousands of exams and tests before they enter the college. This is a picture showing you how heavy the study load is before the college entrance exam. Here another example showing you how students learn English. The education in schools heavily focus on grammar and vocabulary. Students have to take English tests like this or this all the time to make sure they remember the grammar points and the words they've learned. If you look at number 31, 32, and 33 and the choices, you might find that the answers are not even the words a native speaker would use. Those kinds of evaluation don't really help the students improving their English ability. A lot of them get high scores in those tests, but still cannot use the language to communicate with others. But then, think about the Landi project. We don't focus on the grammar or vocabulary. We help the students to learn new words, to say new sentences in a fun and stress-free way. When they keep practicing with the native speaker English teachers, they can actually use what they've learned before in our class. And when they misuse any word, they can learn how to use them correctly from our teachers. Eventually, their English speaking ability will improve. Now we know that the traditional form of evaluation doesn't really help, but it's still gonna last for a long time in schools. One of the reasons is because the student population. Usually there will be 50 to 60 students in one class. Teachers, especially English teachers, can really evaluate the students' language ability through one-on-one communication like what we do in the IELTS speaking test. In most of the developed countries, the number of students in one class might only be 10 to 20. And in the Landi project, there will be even fewer students in one class. When there are fewer students, every one of them can get more attention from the teacher, and there will be more opportunities for them to use what they've learned to express themselves. And they can still learn from each other. Peer pressure is actually a good motivation to the students. The language environment in China is not very good for students who want to learn English. Looking at those signs in public. Full of mistakes, yet so common in China. Even when the students go out and learn a new word, it's not always correct. But when our students grow up, they will finally do something to make a difference because you give them all that information they need. But for some lucky students, They will get the chance to travel abroad during summer or winter holiday to visit those famous schools in like the US, the UK, Canada, or Australia. Those students will soon realize why they learn English, and they might take the TOEFL and IELTS test and study abroad. For the rest of the students, lucky they still have us. Companies like us are helping them to learn English for the purpose of communication instead of exams. You give your students the chance to think critically, to be more confident, and to be a better team player, using what you have learned when you grow up, and making them the students with international view. So you're not only teach some classes, you're actually helping change the education in China. We've talked a lot about different aspects of China. Now let's see what the typical differences are between Chinese and people in other countries. Chinese people ask a lot of personal questions, especially the elders. They ask questions about your religion, your income, and your age. Some find it rude, but you have to know that for most of them, they ask because they care. They regard you as their friends. It has been changed a lot. The new generation say thank you a lot. But we have to admit that for most of the Chinese, saying please or thank you is still not so common, especially with the close ones, because they think if two people are close enough, it's not necessary to say please or thank you. Those are for people they don't know well. In China, there is an old saying that the silence is gold, because people think wise men don't speak a lot. So silence is not a sign of weakness in China. A person who talks too much will be regarded as not modest. So if your students are quiet, don't worry, be patient. They've taught under the Chinese culture for so many years. It cannot be changed through 1 or 2 classes. Yes, they still need more encouragement to be more outgoing, so use more TPR to create a fun and comfortable atmosphere. But we're happy to see that as time goes, it's changing. The Chinese students are becoming more willing to share their ideas. So let's give it a conclusion. The Chinese people are frank, yet tactful, honest, yet sophisticated, suspicious, yet gullible, unscrupulous, yet loyal, advocates etiquette, yet often appear unmannered, stand for the golden mean, yet are extreme, value the quality of being thrifty, yet like to parade their wealth, maintain traditions, yet love to chase modern fashion, believe contentment brings happiness, yet often daydream about becoming overnight millionaires, believe the word of fortune tellers, yet lack of affiliations to any religion. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you've been enjoying and hope you will also enjoy teaching in the Landi project.